Are we after justice or injustice? This is about the Zimmerman case. The Zimmerman trial. It would be beneficial if the prosecutor understood the evidence in the case. When he talked about Zimmerman making 5 calls to 911, the defense objected, claiming, what's the relevance of all these calls to 911? And the prosecutor had no real rebuttal argument for that, because he doesn't understand the relevance of the evidence. The evidence that Zimmerman would call 5 times in a row about crimes that never were committed is relevant to the fact that Mr. Zimmerman decides on his own that he can predict people who are in the area that he lives in this complex, where he's the neighborhood watch, the grand watchman. The grand watchman can predict, by looking at people who are just returning to their homes at the complex, that they're going to commit a crime. So he calls 911. That's what they call a witch hunt. That's what happened in Salem, Massachusetts, where there were no crimes and there were witch hunts based on absurd nonsense. So why can't the prosecutor understand the relevance? I mean, he got a gift. He got a gift when the defense attorney objected, questioning the relevance of all these calls that Zimmerman keeps making about crimes that never occurred. That is the relevance. So that's number one. Number two, what was Trayvon Martin doing at the time? He went to the store to buy some candy. He chose to buy Skittles, and he bought a can of Arizona. And he wanted to return back to play a video game with his friend. And it was raining, and he was trying to get out of the rain back to the house to play the video game. That's what he was doing. But what was Zimmerman doing? He was telling the dispatcher that all these punks get away. The punks that he predicts are going to commit crimes that never happen. So he decided to go after Trayvon Martin. And the dispatcher said, you don't need to do that. But he did it anyway. So Zimmerman attacked Trayvon Martin. How do we know that? Because Trayvon Martin told his girlfriend in Miami that the creepy, what do you call these people? Crackers. The creepy ass cracker was looking at him. And she says, well, run, get away from him. And that's what he was trying to do, was run and get away from Zimmerman, the crazy ass cracker. So now we got 2 crazy ass cracker lawyers claiming that there's no relevance to this guy coming up with one witch hunt after the next, which happens to be illegal. In other words, they could just charge Zimmerman for false information to law enforcement about people who were committing any crime. That's a crime itself. So this is the problem here, that Trayvon Martin was being threatened and physically attacked by Zimmerman. So he decided to protect himself. That is self-defense. And because he got the better end of the fight, he was able to punch Zimmerman in the nose and put a couple of bumps on his head, it's all assumed that he started the fight. That doesn't mean he started the fight. He just was able to protect himself from the fight that Zimmerman was starting. And when he punched this Zimmerman in the nose and knocked him around a little bit, Zimmerman took his 9mm loaded gun out and plugged him. First degree, predetermined murder, not second degree. And that's all this case is about. It's as simple as that. So, hopefully, this message will get through to Mr. Sharpton, Reverend Sharpton, who has a TV show, or Tavis Smiley, who has a TV show, or other people who are following this case, who are trying to find justice for this case, and who apparently don't understand the evidence any more than the prosecutor and a judge that's sitting right there in the court, listening to all these tape-recorded messages from Zimmerman, and witnesses who are credible, including the girl from Miami who had the conversation with Trayvon Martin before he was shot to death, on how to get away from the creepy ass cracker that was glaring at him. That's Zimmerman, who obviously has screws loose, and he thinks he can predict crimes that didn't even occur yet, and the people who are going to commit these crimes, because he's done it over and over and over again. Now, if that's not relevant to this trial, there's nothing that is relevant. That's it. That's the case. So why would the prosecutor not be able to rebut the question about why are all these calls to 911 relevant by Zimmerman? And that's about the end of it. Thank you very much.